Joining us now, co-host of The Five, Juan Williams. Juan, what do you make of this?
Good morning, everybody. Boy, Friends. I haven't seen an episode of Friends in a while, but I think these two pretty good. Pretty good. So, what I make of this is that the president doesn't like people who have added legitimacy because of the prior positions they held in the intelligence community, criticizing him, and he has found a way to go at them and to take out his critics. The question that you asked earlier, Dagan, was really, I found interesting. You said, why would anybody who has left the job have security clearance? And in fact, it's intended to help people who are in office because you have the advantage of their experience and, their contacts, their wisdom, if you will. But I would make one additional point. I note that Comey and McCabe don't have clearance at this moment. So you're taking away something from someone who doesn't have it. You think, oh, why would he be doing that? I think it's because this is political. When I heard Sarah Sanders say monetize, I was thinking, oh, is somebody like selling secrets to somebody? I don't think there's any evidence of that.
So monetized would be, I assume that you're using your security clearance to do consulting work, which is
the claim is that because they can continue to get classified information from their old buddies and colleagues that hire me because I will be more valuable because I can continue to tap into that classified information. I think the original intent was actually a good one. It was the idea that maybe a Secretary Pompeo is dealing with the situation and wants to go back and talk to maybe a former Secretary of State, Colin Powell, and say, how did you deal with the Saudi Arabians on this type of issue?
We did that all the time. Secretary Kerry called his predecessors all the time. I would note that Michael Flynn, when he was on the campaign trail yelling, lock her up, doing very partisan work, he maintained his clearance after he left the government. And I would just tell an anecdotal story that when I was at the CIA, we had this awful attack in 2009 on one of our bases where we lost a number of CIA officers. Leon Panetta was actually in California because it was right around New Year's. Mike Hayden, one of the people named here, was in the agency that day working on his book, and Panetta actually asked him to stay and help run the agency's response from CIA headquarters. This is a small club of people. They help each other out across party lines, Dagan, and I will say this isn't going to have any impact on what they say publicly because what they're saying isn't based on classified information. It's just a shot across the bow, I think, for partisan reasons.
But it doesn't. But to that point, should this be on a case-by-case basis with these individuals? Because the way some of these individuals have acted publicly, if you're in the White House and you're sitting there and your actions or even your words are being called treasonous, which is just ludicrous by some of these individuals, and given the kind of nefarious goings-on within the FBI that we know about, as you said, Jim Comey and Andy McCabe no longer have their security clearances. But again, why is this kind of a blanket handout to these individuals? I think that certainly raises the question based on, like, if you're going to act like this, it raises the issue of, like, what are you up to behind the scenes with a John Brennan, for example?
So it's our turn to play Friends, Dagan, and my.
No,
but I don't think it's ludicrous that somebody who is a very serious. These are serious people. Even if you don't like them, you don't like their criticism of Trump. You view them as part of the Obama camp. You'd have to say these are serious people who have made their way in life and earned their stripes. And when they say that they have deep concerns about this president, I would take them seriously. You say they're ludicrous. Okay, I can hear you because I know where you're coming from. But I wouldn't dismiss them as somehow mental midgets who are just
trumpeting.
No,
hey, that's a good one. I'm going to use that because Clapper fits that definition.
Right.
Well, how about John Brennan, who is a blatant partisan, who takes every opportunity to harass the president?
You're allowed to be partisan, and we faced people from the Bush administration who spoke out very strongly when we were in office, and no one talked about revoking their clearances. So I think that it's actually a good thing to have in place, and it shouldn't be case-by-case basis because then partisanship can come into it.
Well, I'll tell you what's going on is the president, the White House came out and made the statement, whether the Wall Street Journal calls it dumb idea of the week, and it looks petty. That's the editorial headline in the Journal today.
There you go.
But again, we're sitting here talking about it.
I know.
Yeah, well, he's the president. He has the
but again, he changed the conversation.
Yeah.
We're not talking about standing on the stage in Helsinki next to Putin, which, by the way, didn't even hurt his poll numbers. There's another poll I want to get to. A new poll might be a wake-up call to Democrats. The new NBC Wall Street Journal poll posed these questions. Are Democrats in the mainstream or out of touch with American thinking? The majority, 56%, say out of step. Your reaction, Juan?
Oh, I think that when you ask Republicans, it's overwhelming. That's like 100%, I think, right? Even more popular than Donald Trump. So I would guess that would drive up those numbers. And then you come into issues like, for example, the issues we've had here in New York City with the primary election of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and people portray her as socialist. And I think so that's what's in the water at the moment, Dagan. I think that's what would contribute to those numbers.
When she got called out for those, basically her knowing nothing about Palestinians in Israel, she started saying, oh, well, the people who criticize me are alt-right. That's what she was saying.
Right.
So again, that's where you go. It goes to the extreme. I'm upset about the separation of parents and their children. That turns into abolish ICE. That literally, people are more and more viewing the Democratic Party in that way, of this party of extremes. You even saw it with Jeanine Pirro and Whoopi Goldberg, quite frankly, that Jeanine Pirro says, oh, Trump derangement syndrome, and then, well, Whoopi Goldberg looks like she's deranged over Trump.
Well, I say this, it looks like she drove up Jeanine Pirro's book sales. Jason Chaffetz would be so fortunate.
Jason Chaffetz. Well, did you see, but again, as a Republican and knowing a lot of people who are running for re-election or running for office, do the Democrats look more extreme?
The Democrats suffer from two things. First of all, they don't have a leader that they can point to. There's a lot of infighting. Should Nancy Pelosi get the gavel back? Chuck Schumer? These are not the national leaders that the heartland wants to go after. And number two is ask yourself real quickly right now, write down the platform of the Democratic Party. Most people don't know what it is.
I will say that the Democratic Party is easy to caricature with all the national media attention on people like the Democratic Socialist here in New York. In the Midwest, in states like Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, the Democratic Party is running moderate candidates who match their district, who have pledged not to support Nancy Pelosi.
They're running not as Democrats.
No,
they're trying to do what they did in Pennsylvania and run people that are much more like the Republicans.
That's not true. The Republicans have moved so far right. These are moderate Democrats who support a Democratic Party platform. And if Republicans think they're going to
But what is it? We're going to raise your taxes?
Listen to me. If Republicans think they're going to keep the House because the Democrats are all, quote, Democratic socialists, you all are going to wake up the day after the election this November and realize people like Danny O'Connor in Ohio, Alyssa Slotkin in Michigan,
we bet Chick-fil-A on this, so we'll find out.
Pennsylvania. These candidates are going to win, and it's going to surprise you. Well, we did bet Chick-fil-A on the midterms, by the way.
And not all Republicans are extreme. They just believe in. Again, we heard from those two business owners. They were at the White House yesterday. They just said, just get out of the way, cut our taxes, and get the heck out of our way. We just want to run businesses, hire, and raise wages. Real quick, Juan, you had an editorial about how Democrats can win back white working class voters. I guess, how do you do that really quickly?
Well, I think one of the keys, and the reason I wrote this piece in The Hill was because Democrats selected Joe Biden, I think it's almost 2-1 over Hillary Clinton as the candidate they like for 2020. And I think that the key here is making it clear to them that they care about wages, they care about work, in a way that I think Biden can speak to in terms of white working class appeal.
Here's your problem, that Hillary Clinton's name is still being mentioned as a presidential candidate.
Well, that's a problem for Democrats. And
yeah. Juan Williams, thank you, sir.
My pleasure, guys.